Hey there guys, alright, today we are back with another Mark Felton Productions video, this time the Reichstag assault? The Reichstag assault, 1945, when the Soviets, God, I'm getting my words mixed up, when the Soviets took the Reichstag, and the famous, like, hoisting the Soviet flag over the building, and all that. Before we dive into the video, make sure you go check out the links below in my description box or my pinned comment in the comment section. I have a link to my Twitch channel and my gaming channel here on YouTube. Love it if you went ahead and checked them out. Now, go ahead and talk about the Reichstag assault of 1945. The last Mark Felton video I watched I think
the Soviets
what was it?
viewed
The last Mark Felton Productions video I watched got limited ads because of the topic of discussion.
Reichstag
Let's see if that happens
in the
again
same
today.
way that they viewed the Kremlin in Moscow as the seat of government. In actual fact, Hitler had no use for such an assembly building, and since a fire in 1933, it had been empty. The important government building was the Reich Chancellery, with Hitler's bunker beneath the garden. However, in order to help defend the government quarter of Berlin, Sector Z for Zitadelle or Citadel, from the Soviet assault, the massive Reichstag edifice would make a superb blockhouse, being strongly built and commanding excellent views over the Königsplatz.
Is this actual photos from like World War II here? It looks like it, because obviously buildings are destroyed. Damn. I'm just realizing how, like, is it, hold on, are these buildings destroyed? I can't tell. They're just like, no, yeah, over here. This might be immediately post, or maybe a few months post, because it looks like there's maybe some construction happening here on the top of the Reichstag. Yeah, these are, okay. This is sometime after the final moments of World War II. I was gonna say something. I remember what I was gonna say. I'm just realizing now how few pictures you really see of like Germany after World War II. You certainly see plenty of photos of like France, cities of France, Britain after the bombings. That, of course, you see a lot of. Obviously, and then the cities of Japan that got nukes, and then the fire bombings. You see plenty of those, but I don't really remember seeing. Whenever I've had classes on World War II, seeing really many photos. I think Dresden, of course, I think I've seen some. Like, you know, Berlin here. No.
The other side of which was the heavily defended Kroll Opera House, and above that the Ministry of the Interior. The Reichstag was opened in 1894 to house the German Parliament, 47 meters or 154 feet tall. It was inspired by Memorial Hall in Philadelphia. To prepare it for defense, most of its windows and doors were bricked up and loopholed, and sandbags piled against its walls. Machine guns were emplaced on its corner towers and above the main entrance. There were entrenched positions outside the building on the Königsplatz and in the nearby buildings, giving interlocking fields of fire. Though bombed and shelled constantly, the building was sturdy with thick walls and absorbed the punishment without collapse. The central government sector of Berlin would be the toughest nut for the Soviets to crack, as it
all these arrows, I have no clue what's going on.
contained the most elite troops still remaining in Berlin. The Reichstag building sector was one subdivision of the wider Citadel sector, the entirety of which was under the command of SS Brigadeführer Wilhelm Mohnke. The core of this defense force was the 800-man Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler Guard Battalion. There was also the 800-man SS bodyguard unit that protected Hitler, and 600 men of the Reichsführer SS Guard Battalion, Himmler's personal troops. There were also a few dozen French SS of the 33rd Waffen-Grenadier Division Charlemagne, and the remnants of the shattered 11th SS Volunteer Panzergrenadier Division Nordland from the 27th of April onwards. The Reichstag sector came under Kampfgruppe Anhalt, and its overall commander was SS Sturmbannführer or Major Herbert Kaschüler of the LSS.
I like how he's clarifying like the rankings here of the German ranks into, or the Nazi ranks into their rough comparisons to American Army ranks, or
the Soviets thought the
British
Reichstag was
American
defended by
rank.
about 5,000 men. In reality, the German defense in the area consisted of only 550 men. Commanding the Reichstag area defense was SS Obersturmführer, or First Lieutenant, Gerhard Barbik of the LSSAH. His forces consisted of 100 men from the LSSAH's 11th Company, 3rd Battalion. These were mostly concentrated in the Reichstag and surrounding buildings, with a detachment under SS Untersturmführer or 2nd Lieutenant Undermann at the Ministry of the Interior.
That snapping of the heads.
Battle Group
Creepy.
Anhalt also had 250 Kriegsmarine sailors sent by Grand Admiral Dönitz to provide an honor guard at the Reich Chancellery, a now redundant job. There were 100 Volkssturm, the Home Guard, and later in the battle Barbik would receive some welcome reinforcements in the shape of 100 men from the decimated 9th Parachute Division. Barbik established his command post in the cellar of a ruined house behind the Reichstag. Heavy support weapons were limited. Barbik had two 88mm flak guns of 5th Battery 211th Heavy Flak Battalion outside the Reichstag, firing in the ground roll. But he could count on the constant fire support of the big 128mm flak guns atop the Zoo Flak Tower 2 kilometers away, with whom he was in constant contact. Stalin had informed his two front commanders, Marshals Zhukov and Konev, that capturing the Reichstag would mean winning the race to subdue Berlin. Soviet forces had reached the bank of the Spree River on the 28th of April 1945. Facing them was the Moltke Bridge, with the route to the Reichstag passing between the shattered embassy buildings of the diplomatic quarter and the Ministry of the Interior, what the Soviets called Himmler's house. The vertical banks of the river meant that the Soviets had to cross the Spree via the Moltke Bridge. Beyond the heavily defended diplomatic quarter and the Interior Ministry building, the route to the Reichstag was further blocked by a water obstacle. A great pit had been excavated as part of earlier building works, and a cutting for a U-Bahn or underground railway line had also been flooded. The Soviet plan was to send a couple of battalions across the bridge, seize the diplomatic quarter, and then assault the Interior Ministry, following up with the rest of the forces.
Trying to build like an interior moat.
The attacking 79th Rifle Corps had 3 rifle divisions available, each division having 2 regiments of 3 battalions each, with about 500 men per battalion. There was also the 23rd Tank Brigade to assist. Massive artillery and rocket fire was used to flay the Reichstag and surrounding area in preparation for the assault. The Soviet attack across the Moltke Bridge was launched just after midnight on the 29th of April 1945. By daybreak, the best parts of the 150th and 171st Rifle Divisions had got into the diplomatic quarter. The 128mm flak guns on the Zoo Flak Tower, 2 kilometers away, went into action against Soviet artillery on the other side of the Spree, supporting the rifle divisions, and against any visible Soviet tanks, causing much damage. At this point, the Germans counterattacked on the other side of the Spree from the Reichstag. A 100-plus man company from the 9th Parachute Division, cut off in the goods yard beside the Moltke Bridge, charged through Soviet lines and stormed across the bridge. The bridge charges were then fired, partially collapsing it. These men would then take part in the defense of the Reichstag. At 0700 hours, the 150th Rifle Division assaulted the Ministry of the Interior, but it was so big and well defended that it would take them until 0400 hours the next day, 30th of April, to capture it. Conscious that the red banner needed to be raised on the top of the Reichstag by May Day, the 1st of May, the Soviets redoubled their efforts. The exhausted battalions of the 150th Rifle Division launched an assault towards the Reichstag at 0730 on the 30th of April, which was repulsed as they were hit by fire from the Reichstag and also in the rear from the Kroll Opera House. The reserve 270th
Doggy.
Rifle Division was called forward. It was ordered to capture the Kroll
I'm easily distracted.
Opera House. This attack made some progress, and tanks, self-propelled guns, Katyusha rocket launchers and artillery was brought forward to reinforce the 150th. At 11:30 hours, the second assault was made. It reached the flooded U-Bahn cutting before being stopped. The Soviets tried again at 1300, but the Zoo flak tower guns broke up the attack. In the meantime, the 171st Rifle Division finished securing the diplomatic quarter. At 1800 hours, as night began to fall, the final Soviet assault went in, supported by tanks. Using a mortar fired horizontally, a hole was smashed through one of the Reichstag's bricked-up entrances. Soviet troops poured inside. What followed was a...
Imagine being that one guy that like has to carry the flag. So you don't get to hold a gun to defend yourself. You just have the fucking flag on you. Fuck that.
room by room, floor by floor struggle. After a while, a party of Soviet troops reported by field telephone that it had reached the building's first floor. Special banner number 5 party carrying the Soviet flag was sent in. Sent with orders to get the flag on top of the building by midnight at all costs.
What the
They
fuck?
managed to wedge their banner into a damaged equestrian statue atop the roof, but well after midnight. Fighting continued all over the building. The banner in the famous photograph was fixed in place by Captain V.N. Markov and a group of artillery NCOs on the Goddess of Victory statue. These events were reenacted in daylight on the 1st of May.
So like, were the soldiers that didn't get there by midnight, were they punished because they got it on top like a few hours after midnight?
Although the Soviet flag was flying from the roof of the Reichstag, it was not yet fully in Soviet hands. Fighting continued throughout the 1st of May and into the 2nd. At some point towards the end, SS Obersturmführer Barbik and the remainder of the LSSAH who could managed to exit the building and head north. Around 100 of these survivors inside the building finally surrendered on the morning of the 2nd of May. Soviet casualties recorded in the Reichstag area for the 30th of April to the 1st of May 1945 are listed as 154 killed and 312 wounded, which gives a snapshot of just 2 days' combat in and around the giant building.
Just 2 days? I mean, that doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, compared to previous Soviet-German battles.
The Germans suffered several hundred killed and wounded.
Yeah. The Soviets lost less than the Germans. That's good for them.
After the war, the Reichstag ruin was weatherproofed, but it remained in a semi-ruinous state until after German reunification in 1990, but has been restored to some of its former glory today.
Huh.
Though it still bears many of the scars of the ferocious battle.
Yeah, you can see some of, like, that looks like a little bit there that's from the war. Maybe some markings there. Not seeing too many on the roof, though.
Of 1945. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share.
Mark Felton knocking it out of the park as always. That was the Reichstag assault. Reichstag assault, not assault. Reichstag assault of 1945. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.